Good morning. It is Thanksgiving weekend here in Canada, October 12th, and I'm going to go attempt to do the Simcoe County Loop, which is a 160 kilometer loop on primarily rail trail around Simcoe County. And I parked at, full disclosure, I parked at the GO station only because the GO is on a holiday schedule. Otherwise I would have taken the GO train to the GO station, but I'm starting my ride from the GO station, so the file I'll attach in the description will be from the GO station, but I'll also attach the official route, which starts up by the Simcoe County Museum in just outside of Barrie. That's the official route, but we're doing a semi-official route, but it's still going to be the distance of 160 kilometers. And yeah, let's go for a ride. All right, 9 minutes into the ride and we're on the biggest climb of the day. We're going up to a whopping 47 meters of elevation gain. All right, so that's Sunnydale Park, and that's another option for parking on the route. It's at the top of the climb, so that means you finish the ride with a short climb, about, I don't know, maybe a kilometer. It's about 6%. It's only 50 meters of elevation gain, so it's a good option too. So you have that in the works. So only got a couple more minutes of pavement, and then we'll be on some trails up in the Midhurst area, up by the museum. All right, so before we leave the pavement, I just want to tell you about how to get to the route. So I started my ride from the train station, but so I drove up to the train station because it's a holiday weekend, holiday schedule for the trains. But through the week, there's regular trains that go from downtown Toronto, the GO train, to the new Barrie Allandale Transit Station. And if you take the train, you're less than a kilometer from getting on the route. You won't be starting the route at the official start, but you can get on the route and make that your start. So it's pretty easy to get to. For me, it was an hour drive. I'll put the time up on the screen when I get a chance to look at the schedule to tell you the average commute time if you're taking the train. But it's a really good option, you know, low stress way of getting there. Okay, a couple minutes I'm going to tell you about why I love this route. Here we go, leaving the pavement. So let's talk about what I like so much about this trail. But before I do, if you like the type of content I'm putting together, if you could give me a like and a subscribe, it'd be greatly appreciated. It helps. Everything helps a little bit. But let's talk about the trail. So what I like about this trail, so it's a 160 kilometer loop, but if you watch my channel, you're most likely into bike packing, and this is why I think it's a really good route. So from Toronto, it's an easy train ride to get here. You could ride to Barrie from Toronto. On pavement, it's about just shy of 100 kilometers where the route starts. You can always stay a night in Barrie, there's lots of hotels. Okay, but let's treat it like we're starting from Barrie. So I think this route for bike packing is a great spot to maybe try your first overnighter, or maybe spread it over 2 nights. It is 160 kilometers, so if you broke it down, divided into thirds, it'd be a nice ride. There's a couple spots where you could probably stealth camp if you really wanted to try it. I might point those out, but there's a couple of towns we're going to go through, actually 4 really that we're going to go through, 5th if you include Amville. But there's plenty of resupplies and there's plenty of accommodation. So if you decided that you didn't want to camp but you still want to go on a kind of a bike touring ride, there's some hotels in Midland, so you could do an overnighter in Midland. Some nice restaurants there. You could also do the same thing in Orillia. There's more hotels and accommodation there, so you got a couple options. There are some campsites along the way. You do have to check to make sure they take tents. There's one that I'll mark on the map that I'll put up on the screen just outside of Midland, which is a good option. But yeah, you could easily divide this ride up into 2 or 3 nights. So I think it's a great first bike packing trip. It's also not technically challenging. It's mostly rail trail. There is no single track. There's a little bit of trail through the bush when you first leave Barrie, and that's about it. So it's not technically challenging. So again, another good way to introduce yourself to riding with gear, having your bike loaded. And then the other way you can enjoy this ride is, treat it like a gravel ride, and a really long gravel ride, and you can do it in a day. It's 160 kilometers. Again, it's not technical. It's mostly rail trail, and it's a good distance challenge for you because you have lots of resupplies if you need it. The color of the leaves are spectacular. I'm really glad I managed to get up here when I did, because I think this week will probably be the peak of the leaves, and then they'll start to fall. So it looks really nice, really pretty out here. So between Dalston and Elmvale, we have to get back on the road for a little bit, but it's pretty quiet up here. Look at the color of these trees, just spectacular. Make sure you keep your eyes peeled for these signs when you're on the route, especially on the pavement sections. They'll tell you where the turns are, because sometimes we all know that we get a little hyper focused and we're looking at our stems instead of looking up and looking at our GPS. So use those blue signs as an indicator that you got a turn coming up. What an incredible day. When I checked the forecast, when I left this morning or started the ride, it was 11 degrees Celsius. It's supposed to go up to 17 today, but I don't know exactly what the temperature is right now, but that sun is really strong. I'm gonna lose the wind vest in a few minutes because it's warming up nicely, but just spectacular out here. We've had such an amazing weather this fall here in Southern Ontario with warm weather. It's just spectacular. I would say if you live in the Barrie area, Toronto area, Southern Ontario, today's October 12th, I think you got 10 days to do this to see some spectacular colors. I don't think it's hit its peak yet. There's still a lot of green leaves here. I think another 5 to 10 days, it's gonna be at its peak. So if you can, even if you just do part of the section or part of the trail, try to get out here and do it. It's fantastic, and the trail itself is really tight. There's only been 2 soft spots the whole time. I've been averaging about just shy of 30 kilometers an hour for the ride so far, and you know, on rail trail, that's pretty good. So anyways, try to get out here and do this trail. It's amazing. All right, so we're just arriving in Allandale. We're not going to go into Allandale, or I'm not going to go into Allandale, but it's a spot to resupply if you need food. But we're going to get back on the trail here in a second, just across here. So we have a little bit of road section we have to do before we get back on the trail. But before we do that road section, we're going to go to a spring where we can get some water. It's right here, right off the trail. So at the beginning of the ride, I was mentioning about accommodations. So between Barrie and Midland, I would say every 15 to 20 minutes, you're going to be going past some forest or going through some forest. So if there's some reason where you need to wild camp or stealth camp, you know, whether it's conditions or running out of daylight, what have you, you do have options. There's definitely county forest here. A lot of it though does pass through private lands, so you know, be respectful. And you know, it's an option for you if you need to. Alright, so that section we just went through, with all the bridges, we're kind of in the south end of the town of Penetang, or Penetang. It's another place where you can go and resupply if you need to, but you're also getting pretty close to Midland, which is where I'm going to actually stop and have a coffee and maybe a bite to eat. So looking forward to getting there quickly. Oh, when you get down a lake, when you move back inland, you gotta go uphill. And here we are entering downtown Penetang. Good place to resupply if you need to. We're in Midland, and we're headed across the street to Grounded Coffee. turn off the trail into Coldwater. So Coldwater is a nice place to resupply. There's like a gas station, and more importantly, there's ice cream. So it is October, so Coldwater ice cream actually is closed, but in the summertime it's a great place to stop and recharge if who doesn't need ice cream on a hot day. Okay, we've entered Orillia, heading along the waterfront. So Orillia has all the usual chain coffee shops, stuff like that, but you just saw me pass a sign or pointed out Mariposa Market. So since we have a little bit of local knowledge, we're going to go around the back of Mariposa Market where there's parking and seating and an entrance to the back of Mariposa Market. And we're going to get ourselves a coffee or something. Alright, well, I'm about I think 8 kilometers from the end. It's been a really good ride. A little bit of a headwind on the way back, so I had to put my head down and just pedal away, but for the most part I'm sheltered. The rail trail is, it's got trees on both sides. I'm fairly well sheltered, so that's good. Anyways, as I was saying at the beginning of the video, it's October 12th, 2025, and I think you have about 5 to 10 days of tree cover, 5 to 10 days of spectacular foliage as the trees start to turn and just before the leaves fall. So even if you get out and do a small section of the trail, maybe up around Midland, that's probably where the most spectacular colors would be right now. I really encourage it. Anyways, I'm gonna keep pedaling here to the end, and then I'll check in one more time. Okay, so the route finishes coming into Barrie, or at least my version of the route finishes on pavement coming into Barrie on Ridge Road. But it's flat, no more hills, no more climbs. And we're back. I'm back where I officially started the route. And now heading back to the parking lot. Ah, what a great day. And we're back.